Hi, this is Matt from tracyandmatt.co.uk and for unboxings.com. Here inside this plain white box, courtesy of our friends over at devicewire.com, I have the HTC Snap, which this is actually a pre-release version of the handset. It's final hardware, but not necessarily the final OS and final ROM build. So we'll have to bear that in mind as we show you it in a few minutes. But the handset hardware is final. Obviously the box itself isn't retail, so just bear that in mind. What I'm going to show you is probably going to find its way into the retail package, but the box is likely to be somewhat different. So also inside the box I have a headset, which is pretty standard fare. It's extended mini USB connector on one end. We have an inline microphone with a push button and volume control, and then we have the headphones on the other end. The headphones are pretty average, but not bad for a wired headset. We then have a USB sync charge cable, which has a extended mini USB style connector on one end, which is not quite the same as mini USB, obviously the shape of it, but similar, and then obviously USB on the other end. And then finally we have the standard HTC charger, which is USB, and I only have a European plug there for it. Nothing else in the pre-release hardware box. That's to be expected. You don't normally get manuals and so on with pre-release. So to have a quick look at the handset itself, despite the fact that it is a 3G and HSDPA handset, we don't have a forward-facing camera, so they're obviously not aiming this for video conferencing. But on top we do have this rather large grill area where our loudspeaker is. A couple of indicator LEDs on either side. The screen is a 2.4-inch LCD, which is also VGA, so it's actually 320 by 240. As you can see, it's a landscape screen. It isn't touchscreen though, because this is actually a Windows Mobile standard, Windows Mobile 6.1 standard handset, so no touchscreen. Below the screen you've got your phone keys, a couple of soft keys, a home and a back button, and then we have this little trackball, which obviously rolls around, and then you can push it as an enter button. Then we have this nice QWERTY keyboard, which is quite generous in terms of size. Obviously there are lots of styling similarities between this HTC Snap and the aging HTC S620, which is kind of does replace. But there is a nice keyboard there. It's nice tactile buttons. They are quite large and quite flat, and actually the handset itself, as you can see, is quite slim and quite lightweight. On the left hand side we have an up-down style rocker, which is for volume control. Nothing actually to speak of on the bottom. On the right hand side we have a cover over our extended mini USB connector, so that's for sync and charge, and also for plugging in headphones or wired headset. Interesting that isn't on the bottom, but it does make for a much smoother, slimmer device, and it's under a cover, so obviously will help to prevent dust ingress. Back cover pops off like so, and then we have a fairly large battery, which is a 1500 milliamp hour battery. So I would imagine for a handset of this type with this size of a battery, our battery life is going to be quite substantial. Also under the cover here we have space for our SIM card, which pops in the side there just like so, and then our micro SD card slot just on the bottom there. You notice how far recessed that micro SD card socket is, so I'm wondering if that might be a little bit difficult to get the micro SD card in and out. But we do support up to 16 gig SDHC or micro SDHC memory cards according to spec, although I guess 32 gig might be available soon. So let's just power up. As you can see, we're obviously as a test only. We are final hardware, but not necessarily final ROM. So quick rundown of the spec while I'm waiting for that to just start up. We've got 256 meg of ROM and 192 meg of RAM, which is pretty substantial. So it should be a fairly rapid handset. 116 millimeters from top to bottom, 61 millimeters wide, and only 12mm thick. As you can see, a very slim handset, which it seems even slimmer with the nice rounded curves of the bottom and the edges. so don't have a SIM card installed. And then we have a nice interface, which obviously has some similarities to Touch Flow in terms of its design. And we can scroll through the home screen. So we've got the time and date at the top. Then below that we have our appointments, and we can create a new appointment. Scroll down to see our missed calls, voicemails, new messages, media messages, and email. And again, messages just there. And we can set up email, and we look at the weather, and then we've got Internet Explorer with a number of favourites there. And then we have our media player, and then getting started, and our profile, and then we're back to the top. So you can do almost everything through the home screen, rather than having the tabs along the bottom, such as we do with Touch Flow or Touch Flow 3D. We have them by scrolling down. So it's a kind of a similar concept, done in a sort of vertical rather than horizontal fashion. So that's quite cool. And also we can go into our start menu, and we've got icons for the main things like settings and MSN Messenger, Office Mobile, multimedia. We've got call history and speed dial. We've got Windows Live, Google Maps pre-installed on the ROM, which is great because we do actually have built-in GPS. And then we have Inner Circle. Inner Circle is one of the newer concepts that HTC have put on this device. Inner Circle is where you have a number of contacts or friends in your inner circle, and then when you enter Inner Circle, it will basically filter out all your other mail and junk and everything else, so you can just see the messages, missed calls, speed dials and everything else for those people you have in your inner circle. So it's a great way to interact with people that are perhaps your friends or work colleagues and everything else, and it will filter out all the rest of the stuff. Unfortunately, this handset is only on very short loan, so we won't have time to do a full review, but hopefully we will have a full review of the handset later on, and a handset that we can borrow for a bit longer, and we will sort of talk about Inner Circle a little bit more and many of the other features. Just quickly give you the final rest of the specification. Quad band for GSM, Edge and GPRS, and dual band for HSDPA, so we'll work in pretty much most countries around the world. As I mentioned, there is the internal built-in GPS, Bluetooth 2 with EDR support, Wi-Fi which is 802.11b and G. We have a 2 megapixel camera on the back, which as I mentioned already, it is autofocus, but it is only 2 megapixels. There is no built-in flash and no mirror for self-portraits, but you can suffer that. The quoted battery life, as I mentioned, there is a 1500 mAh battery, so we expect the battery life to be pretty good. Talk time is listed in the spec as being 510 minutes on a GSM network, and up to 380 hours on standby on a GSM network, so pretty impressive if it does live up to that. Last of all, the processor is a 528 MHz Qualcomm processor, so again coupled with the 256 meg of ROM and 192 meg of RAM, we'd expect that to run applications pretty rapidly and pretty smoothly. As I say, unfortunately I can't do a full review for you of this handset just at the moment. Hope to do that in the next sort of week or so when we actually receive a full retail HTC Snap 2 review. In the meantime, if you want to see more of our unboxing videos, please check out our other website, unboxings.com. Or if you want to actually go ahead and pre-order the HTC Snap, head over to devicewire.com where you can pre-order the handset today.